Let's talk about personality. What is it really? It's one of those words we use all the time, but what does it actually mean? Well, today we are going to dive deep and unpack the incredible science behind what makes each and every one of us so unique.
Seriously, just take a second to think about that. What makes you, you? Is it your sense of humor? The way you think? Your secret hopes and fears? This question, this fundamental mystery, is what we're going to explore together.
You know, the first clue is right there in the word itself. Personality actually comes from the Latin word persona, which means mask. In ancient theater, actors would wear masks to show the audience what character they were playing. And in a way, don't we all do that? We present a certain version of ourselves to the world. But the real question is, what's going on behind the mask?
To start looking behind that mask, our first stop has to be with the pioneer of psychoanalysis himself, Sigmund Freud. He argued that if you really want to understand someone, you can't just look at the surface. Nope, you have to take a journey into the hidden depths of the mind.
And Freud's most famous idea for this is the iceberg. It's a perfect analogy. He said that our conscious mind, all the thoughts and feelings we're aware of right now, that's just the tiny, tiny tip of the iceberg sticking out of the water. The huge, massive part hidden below the surface, that's our unconscious mind. And it's down there that our deepest desires, fears, and memories are secretly running the show.
So what's going on down there? Well, Freud said it's like a constant battle between three parts of you. First, you've got the id. This is your inner toddler, the part that wants what it wants right now, no waiting. Then there's the superego. That's your inner parent, the voice of society telling you all the shoulds and should nots. And then, caught right in the middle, is the ego, the negotiator, the part of you that's just trying to make the impulsive id happy without getting in trouble with the strict superego.
Freud had this brilliant way of describing it. He said the id is like a powerful, wild horse. It's got all the energy and drive. But the ego is the rider. And it's the rider's tough job to hang on tight and try to steer that raw power in a direction that won't lead to a total disaster. It's a constant struggle, for sure.
But you know, not everyone was sold on Freud's dark, conflict-filled view of things. A whole new school of thought came along called humanistic psychology, and it offered a way more optimistic vision. For them, personality wasn't about managing conflict, it was about a journey of growth, of becoming the best person you can possibly be. A guy named Carl Rogers came up with this really beautiful idea. He said each of us has two selves. There's your real self, that's who you are right now, flaws and all. And then there's your ideal self. That's the person you dream of being, the version of you that lives up to all your hopes and values. And here's the key. Rogers believed our happiness depends on how much overlap there is between those two selves. This whole idea of growth is also the heart of Abraham Maslow's famous pyramid. He showed that we're all on a journey. Once we have our basic needs met, like food, safety, a sense of belonging, we don't just stop, we start reaching for more. We want respect, we want to feel competent, and at the very top of the pyramid is what he called self-actualization, that universal drive to reach our fullest, most unique potential.
Okay, so we've looked deep inside our minds with Freud, and we've looked up towards our potential with Maslow. But what about everything that's happening outside of us? This next perspective flips the script entirely. It suggests that maybe personality isn't something we're born with, but something we learn.
Psychologist Albert Bandura asked this game-changing question. What if your personality is just a collection of habits and behaviors you picked up by watching other people? His famous Bobo doll experiments showed, pretty convincingly, that kids learn aggression simply by watching an adult be aggressive. We are constantly learning from our parents, our friends, and even the characters we see on TV.
So how does this work? Bandura broke it down into 4 pretty straightforward steps. First, you have to pay attention to something. Then you have to retain it. You got to remember what you saw. Next, you need the ability to actually reproduce the action. But the final piece is crucial: motivation. You need a reason to copy that behavior, maybe because you saw someone else get rewarded for it. And just like that, what we see in the world around us becomes a part of who we are.
This brings us to our final, massive layer. Because if we learn from our environment, then the biggest environment of all, our culture must have a huge say in shaping our personality. Culture basically gives us the blueprint for what a person is even supposed to be like.
And this blueprint looks really different depending on where you are. For example, in what we call individualistic cultures, like in the United States, the focus is all on standing out, on personal achievement, on being independent. But in collectivist cultures, like in Japan, the focus is completely different. It's all about fitting in, group harmony, and loyalty to your family. The very idea of a self can change dramatically across the globe.
So, at the end of the day, which one is it? Is personality our hidden unconscious drives? Is it our climb towards self-actualization? Is it what we learn from others or what our culture teaches us? Well, the most amazing answer is, it's all of them. There isn't one single correct map to personality. The only way to see the true, rich, complex picture of who someone is to look through all of these different lenses at once.
And that leaves us with a pretty powerful idea. Your personality, it isn't some fixed, concrete thing that you just have. It's something you're constantly building, constantly shaping, constantly becoming. Yes, it's influenced by your past, by your culture, by your dreams, but it's also shaped by the choices you make every single day. So the ultimate question isn't just, who am I? It's, who will I choose to be?